Good morning, class. Today we are going to look on three-dimensional geometry, and at the moment we talk about three-dimensional geometry, we are going to consider three things which makes it to be regarded as a three-dimensional geometry. First of all, we are going to look on what we call the measurement. Then we talk about what we call the area. Then we talk about what we call the volume. So there are three of them. That comes from the term three. So the moment we talk about three, this has the diagram from the geometry. Geometry is just the figures or what we call the geometrical figures in the mathematical set. The moment we talk about three-dimensional geometry, we are going to look on what we call the measurement, area, and the volume. So the reason why we have three-dimensional geometry, it is because these figures we are going to look at, we can be able to come up with the measurement from the same figures. We can be able to come up with the area from the same figures. Also, we can be able to come up with the volume from the same figures. Now, somebody can ask, why three-dimensional? They are called three-dimensional geometrical figures because you can come up with the three of these variables. Now, the moment we have a diagram whereby we can only find the measurement of it. For example, when we talk about a line, if we talk a line from here up to here, let us assume this is line A3. This is line A3. We can only say the measurement of this line from here up to here is maybe 8 centimeters. Now, this measurement is having only, we cannot find the area of a line. You can also not find the area of the volume of what? A line. So this line from here up to here, it is considered to be a one-dimensional geometry. The reason, because we can only come up with the measurement or length. If we have something like this one, which is a circle for my case, and maybe this is the radius, we can be able to come up with the measurement of this circle in terms of the circumference or the perimeter. We can also be able to come up with the area of this circle because we have the radius and we know the formula of coming up with the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Then if we have to mention about the circumference, we talk about pi d. So in this figure, we can come up with the area, also the measurement in terms of circumference or perimeter. So this one can be considered as a two-dimensional geometry. The reason, because we can come up with its measurement, also we can come up with this area. But this one, the first one, is a line. And the line, we can only come up with the measurement, we cannot come up with the area. So this one is a one-dimensional geometry, this is a two-dimensional geometry. Now, let us move to a three-dimensional geometry. And I told, when we talk about now a three-dimensional geometry, these are the figures whereby you can find the measurement. You can find the measurement from the same figure. You can find the area, and also you can find the volume from the same figure. For example, what I have here. If I have to show what I have here, this is a prism. And from this prism, you can find the measurement. You can find the measurement of this prism. We can find the area of this prism. And also we can find the volume of this prism. Of course, we know various formulas we can use in finding the formula of a prism. Therefore, this one falls under the category of a three-dimensional geometry. I'm going to show you the examples of the figures which are perceived to be three-dimensional geometry. And this is one of the examples. This is a prism. It is a three-dimensional geometry because we can come up with the volume of the same, we can come up with the area and the measurement. So the reason why we call this topic a three-dimensional geometry because we are going to look on the figures whereby whose volume, whose area, and whose measurement can be found. That is the reason we have to call it three-dimensional geometry. So these are the examples of three-dimensional geometry. We have this one, we have this figure, which is a prism. Also, we have also this figure. Also, we have this figure, which we call it a frustum. This is a frustum, and we can find now the measurement of this frustum. We can find the area of this frustum, and also we can find the volume of this frustum. This is another example of a three-dimensional geometry. Also, what I have here is also an example of a three-dimensional geometry, whereby this is what they call a cone. This is what they call a cone. And we can find the volume of a cone, which is a third by r squared h. You can find the volume of this cone. You can find the measurement of this cone in terms of the perimeter. Also, we can find the area of the cone. So this is also another example of three-dimensional geometry. Then you can also come up with another example here. This one is a pyramid, and in this case, to be specific, we call it the square pyramid, square-based pyramid. You can see the base is in form of a square, so we call it the square-based pyramid. So this pyramid, you can come up with the measurement of this pyramid. You can also come up with the area of this pyramid as well. You can come up with the volume of this pyramid. That is the reason it can lie under the category of a three-dimensional geometry. Also, another figures we can talk about this one. We can also talk about this one. This is also another example of a three-dimensional geometry. Whereby we can find the area of this figure, we can find the volume of this figure, at the same time we can find the measurement of this figure. That is also another example. Also, what we have here is another prism in the form of a roof, of a house. So this is also a pyramid. Not a pyramid, but a prism, and we can find the area of this one, we can find the volume of this one. Also, we can find what we call it the measurement of this diagram, which is a geometry. So this one also is a three-dimensional geometry. And lastly, but not least, you can also look at what we have here. This is also a square cuboid. And from this cuboid, we can come up with all of the three variables I mentioned about measurement. You can come with the measurement. You can find the area, and also we can find the volume of this given figure. So these are the examples of the three-dimensional geometry we are going to cover in the course of this topic. So these are the major figures. We are not going to look on a circle, we are not going to look on a line, because in Form 4, this is what we covered in Form 1 about the circumference, about the measurement, about the perimeter. Also, this is what we covered in Form 2, that is the area of given diagram. Now in Form 4, we are going to look on the three-dimensional geometry. And in this case, we are not going to find the volume, the area, or a measurement. The reason why I came up with this one, is to show you where the term three-dimension came from. Meaning three-dimensional geometry. Geometry is like a figure, what I've shown you the diagrams. So when we talk about three-dimensional, these are the figures which can be measured in the three-dimension. And the moment we mention about in the three-dimension, talking about, you can find the measurement, or what we call the length of that given figures. You can find the area of those given figures, and also you can find the volume of those given figures. That is the major introduction I can give concerning the three-dimensional geometry. But now, what we are going to look at in the course of this topic, or what the figures we have, we are going to find three variables from these figures. We are going to look on the measurement. We can just be tested on what we call the measurement of those given figures. Then at the same time, we are also going to look on what we call the angles of given sides of these given variables. And the moment we are going to look on the measurement, of this, we are going to, for example, if I have this figure, you can, if we have to be named this one or the specific side, you can be told to come up with the measurement from here up to here. Or you can find the measurement from this point to this point. That is what we are going to look at to some extent. Then another thing is angles of given variables. And the moment I mention about the angles of given variables, now we are going to look at the angles in three perspectives. The first one, we are going to look at the angles angles between lines, and I'm going to explain that one. We are going to look at the second part. We are going to look at angles between a line and a face, and you see that the angles between a line and a face. Then the third part of it, we are going to look at the angles between two faces. Angles between. So we are going to look at what we call the angles between two lines. And the moment we talk about the angles between two lines, this what I have here is just the lines. What I have here is what we call the lines. These are the lines. So the moment we talk about the lines, we can find the angle between this line and this line. You can find the angle between this line. That is when we talk about the angles between lines. And this line and this line, this is a line. We can find the angle between maybe this line and this line. Where they meet, we can find the angle of that one. Also, we can find the angles between maybe this line and maybe this line. You can find the angle between maybe this line. That is also another angle. We can find the angle between this line and this line. Any other two lines, as long as they meet somewhere, we can find the angle between the lines. Also, we can find the angles between the line, and also the face. Now, when we talk about maybe the face, now what the whole of this part, we call it the face. The whole of this part, we call it the face. The whole of this part, we call it the face, and the whole of this one, we call it the face. So the moment we talk about a line and a face, maybe you can find the angle between this line and the whole of the bottom face. Or you can find the angle between maybe this line here, this one, and the face. So that is the angle between a line and a face. But also you can find the angle between faces. For example, maybe I can find the angle between this face, and this face. Of course, it is usually 90 degrees. I'm just going to show you how can you find the angle between two faces. That's what we are going to cover. How can you find the angle between two faces? Maybe between this face and this face, between this face and this face, between this face and this face, between this one and maybe this one. We are going to cover that one. How can you find the angles between two faces? Maybe one face and another. So that's what is going to color us for the whole topic, that is the measurement geometry, finding the measurement of given lines, then finding the measurement between faces, also finding the measurement between maybe a line and a face, so that you can just know what are we supposed to do. The moment we are being told about finding the angles between lines, what are we supposed to do? The moment we talk about finding the angle between a line and a face, what are we supposed to do? Then, the moment we talk about finding the angles between two faces, what are we supposed to do for that given question? So that's what we're going to do in our next lesson.